Okay, so for iCulture Part 2, you've already got all 9 of your different apps on there. You already have all of your text underneath. The only thing I might adjust with this is my text seemed to be maybe a little bit small, or maybe I'm going to make it a little bit bolder. And notice what I'm doing is I'm holding down Shift to highlight all of them. So that's that skill that you maybe learned in Part 1, where you were aligning all of your different icons and making sure they were spaced out correctly. That's called distribution. So now what we want to do is really a bunch of different effects. The first effect it asks you to do is to pick 3 of these apps to link to an external website. So I've already actually done that to this one here, which is on my dog. I linked it to the Wikipedia page about Australian cattle dogs. So for example, let's say I want to link this one. This one talks about that I'm part Scottish. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to go and find a Google map about Scotland. And there's a couple of different ways to do this on Google Maps. You can just click share. Gives you a link right there. Great. That's one way to do it. Another way might be to go get it from up here on the address bar. So one way or another, get a link. I'm going to go back here. I'm going to click on this icon. Use my insert link button. This is quite simple. Click on it. It's going to ask for the link. Use Control V to paste it, because sometimes right click doesn't work. And then I paste it in there. So I want you to pick 3 of these apps that you are going to externally link to. My third one would probably be this one here, where I went out and I found like their website about the show. That's even easier. I just go up here to the top, highlight the web address, Control C to copy it, click right here, link, Control V. So you can see how quick it could be to do that first step. Second step, what I would do here is take a look at your background. Now your background is actually just a rectangle that's been placed in front of this black rectangle, but behind everything else. And that's important because if you want to change this, you need to be able to arrange what's called your layers. The easiest way would be to click on this bucket and just pick a different color or different layout. If that's all you want to do, that's fine. If you want to do something a little more complex, let's say you want to insert like an image for your background, what you would do is you'd insert some sort of image. I went out and just found some mountains. I'm going to insert this. And then I'm going to use these tools that I've learned how to use, my cropping tools, and get it to be approximately a rectangle, right? So there's my cropping tools. And I'm going to make it larger so that it is about the size of my existing background. So I'm going to have to kind of stretch it out and give me an approximate size. Great. I'm going to go ahead and round my edges. I've already learned how to do that previously because I did it to all my apps. And now you can see it's a perfect background, except it's on top of everything. So that's where, as a tip, what I like to do is I push it off to the side, and I'm going to use my arrange order. All right. And I've got 4 different options: front, forward, back, backwards. Right now it's only letting me move it backwards. So if I move it backwards, it only goes 1 layer. So it's just going to go behind one of these things, whatever the last thing is that I just put on there. But if I do arrange order to back, it pushes it behind every single layer, including the background. That's how I recommend it. And then arrange order, and I'm going to just bring it forward 1. And that will allow me to then get rid of my orange background and put it right there. Now, this sometimes requires a little experimentation and messing around. Obviously, you may want to make your background a little bit lighter. Maybe you want to recolor it. Whatever you want to do to it to make it sort of blend in is up to you. So I'm going to say, there it is. That's good for my background. Now, the next step we want to do, this is where it gets really deep, and this is where a lot of students will spend 3-4 days on this. We only have 2 days necessarily this week, kind of depending on how many days we have. But this is where I want to pick several other icons, and I want to, instead of linking to an external website, I'm going to create a fake internal website. So for example, let's say for this Chicago PD one, I don't want to go to the external website. I'm going to go ahead and remove that link. I instead am going to create a page that looks like it's actually on this fake cell phone. The way that you do that, and works for all of them, is you're going to go to slide, duplicate slide. Slide, duplicate slide. That's the most common question I get. How do I do that? Notice I have slide 2 right here, and I'm going to go on slide 2 and I'm going to delete all of my apps that I created for slide 1, along with all of the words, all of these text boxes. So I'm going to use my shift tool, highlight these, get rid of them a little bit faster. And I'm actually going to go ahead and delete these bottom icons because I don't want these either, and leave all of these there. Now I have a blank page that slide 1 looks like this, slide 2 looks like this. I'm going to recreate a page of what my cell phone would look like if I were to click on, for example, this icon. So the quick and easy version is to go on the internet, find what you want that page to look like. And I'm actually going to show you a little trick here. If you make this page half size, all right, so let me get rid of this agenda here. If I make this page half size, oh my gosh, and make it approximately the shape of a cell phone, notice this page puts itself in what's called mobile format. So now this is what this page would look like if you were on your cell phone. And I'm going to go and use a new tool that you may not be familiar with. It's called the snipping tool. What you do is you go down here to the very bottom left corner on the Windows machine, click start, and you just start typing the word snip, and then it appears. It's called the snipping tool app. Now, if you're on a Chromebook, you have a different tool, right? But we're on a Windows machine. So this snipping tool pops open like this, and you get this little box that floats around. Yours might look like this, where it has this, wants you to try and download this new thing called Snip and Sketch. Hide that because you don't want to accidentally download that. You just need these tools. Then the way this works is you click new right here. It makes everything gray. Now, the next thing that I click and drag is what it's going to snip. So I'm going to snip, yikes, right there, right? And now I've got a little image that I can either just copy or I can save it. I'm just going to copy it for this because it'll work just fine. And I'm going to go back to my slideshow and I'm going to paste it. And now I'm going to do what I did for my background and just get this to fit right onto my background. And if I spent a little more time, it might look a little bit better. I'm going to round the edges, bang. So now I have a page that looks like I clicked on this button on my main page, and it's going to jump to what kind of looks like the web page, right? The second part of that, now that I've created that page, is I'm going to hyperlink this. Now, instead of externally, this time I'm going to click on insert link, but I'm going to instead go to slide 1, right? So now it's not going to some web address. It's going to slide 1. I go to slideshow. I watch my slideshow. I know if I click on this, it's going to go to Google Maps. If I click on this, my dog, it's going to go to Wikipedia because those are external sites. But if I click on this, it's going to jump to another page that is this. All right. Now I'm stuck here. I can't get back. What button, if this was an iPhone SE, would I go to? It would be the button at the bottom, right? If it's an SE, that's the reason I use an SE. It's this little dot down here at the bottom if you're not familiar with an SE. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to program this button to always go back to slide 1. So I'm going to actually remove that link because it's already in there. And I'm going to click link and I'm going to go to slide 1. And I'm going to go back here. I'm going to confirm this. You know what? This actually should go to slide 2. All right, I did that wrong the very first time. Click on that link, edit that link, and I'm going to go to slide 2. So let's try this out. I go to slideshow, click on this, it goes to slide 2. Great. When I click on this button on the bottom, bang, it goes back to slide 1. All right, so that's a small little adjustment in my demo to you. When I click on this, I had originally said slide 1, but I want to go to slide 2. Right? And it's easy to get confused about where you're going. Now, let me show you even further, an even better way to make this even more interactive, right? So you can do this endlessly. Let's say right here, I've decided my favorite music is EDM, right? And I went out and I found a YouTube channel that has EDM, like one of my favorite songs or whatever. Again, I'm going to go here. I'm going to make it smaller. Gives me the mobile version of it. I'm going to go ahead and use my snipping tool. I've already got it here. I'm going to click new. Click. drag, get the mobile version of this. I'm going to copy it. And I know these are a lot of steps, but it's kind of cool to be able to do this with your own page. I'm going to go back to my Google Classroom or my iCulture. I'm going to go ahead and insert a duplicate slide once again, but I'm going to do it down here. Slide, duplicate slide. I'm going to delete this. I'm going to insert this, Control V, paste, put it right there. Now, this is where it can get really cool. So I'm going to do this. Just kind of re-showing you the steps I just did last time. So now I've got a YouTube page. So I'm going to make it so that when I click on this button, it goes to that page, right? So I'm going to click link. I'm going to go to slides in this presentation. Now I know that that is slide 3. I'm going to go down to slide 3. And when you click on that, it's going to go to this page. Now, here's the next level. Let's say we want this to actually be an interactive page. I'm going to go in here. I'm going to click share, copy, and get the web address for this. And something that's cool within Google Slides, I can insert a video. I can go find that video and insert it and make it whatever size I want to match exactly this. What? And now here's the interactivity of my page. I click slideshow, right? I click Chicago PD, goes to this one, static, kind of boring. But now I click on this, and it's a real page that actually has built into it. I can click on this. I go back to my page. So you can create endless opportunities with this. If you start getting really good at this, you can create like a dial page. You can click and create a page that looks like a camera. So when you click on this camera icon, it goes to a page that's taking a picture. You can go to a page that looks like you're calling someone. I've seen people even add lock screens where you have programmed every single button on the lock screen to go to a different page, and that interactivity is there to like unlock your phone. I'll show you next level beyond this, but this is step 2 and kind of where you should go from here once you have all of your app icons created.